Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome back to the Front End Friday series. And yes, today we are making a front end project. And in this project today, actually, we are making a simple random password generator, something like this. Let me just open it here. So this is a random password generator. Here we enter a length of our password. Let's just say I want to have a password of length 12, then it generates a random password. If I want to have a password of length 40, it generates me a length of 40 password. And if I say let me generate a length of 50, then it says choose a valid length, because we have a condition here that it generates a password of length 1 to 40. Actually, it can generate a password of enormous amount of length, like hundreds of words, but for our housekeeping purposes and to make it look clear and nice, we have chosen a length of just 1 to 40. And if you say 0, then it will also say choose a valid length. If you say 4, then it will give you a password of length 4. So let's say if I want a password of length 10, then it will give me a password of length 10. So now let's just make this kind of a project. So for this project, let me just close this tab, and here I have created a folder, FronEndFriday, in which I have an index.html file and a style.css file, and I have linked my CSS here, the linked relative. Now we will run our live server, and our server has here. So let's just see if our style.css works or not. So we just say body.background color and it's black, and yes, our CSS is and everything is working fine. So let's just start working on our project. So in the body.html, in the body tag, we will create a division first with a class of box. So, and inside this box, let me have an h2 heading tag, which is random, or we can have a h1 tag actually. Random password generator. This is our random password generator. Again, here we can have a paragraph that it generates a password of length of length 1 to 40. It generates a password of length 1 to 40, and after this we need to have an input tag, and this input type is text, and we will give it an ID of, let's say, input. Yes, INP. Let's just give it an ID of input. Oh, we have an ID in the end. I didn't see that. Now we have to give it a class. Actually, let's give it a class also. No, we don't have to give class. Okay, so placeholder, enter the length of password, and let's see if it works or not. Yes, oh sorry, let me just clear this. Here, random password generator generates a password of length 40, and yes, this is our thing, and it is working quite fine for now. Okay, now let's just add a br tag here so that we can break the line. Now we need a button to generate a password, so we will say a button, and let's just give it a ID of btn. And when we click this button, like see this, we have a button here. I didn't have a name. Generate. So this is our button, but it does not work right now, so we need to use JavaScript in this case. So whenever we click on it, so let's just say on click, it will run a function which will be generate password. generate password, and here we can also write generate password. Actually, let me just do this. Yes, so whenever we click, we have to make a function here, or we have to make some JavaScript function to make it work. But before making it work in JavaScript, let's work on our style.css file. So I am giving my HTML a height of 100%, and let's work on the body tag. And in the body tag, we will set margin to 0, padding 0, and our color will be equal to, let's say, white. This is our text color. Okay, now for background color, I am using a hex value, and I will just copy paste it from my clipboard. Okay, so this is our background. Now yes, this is our background, and all the things are looking great. Now we will have to design this whole entire division, which is our box. So we will just say .box, which because it is a class of box, and let's just give it a background color, and I will be using hex values. So now it will have a background of this color. Now let us give it a width and height. So I am giving it a width of 380 pixels. Why it is not working? 380 pixels, and we will give it a height as well. Let me just hit some music as well. Yeah. So now our height should be around 130 pixels. Now let us see if it works. Yes, it is working for now. Okay. So now we need, and another thing that we need is padding. So we can say our padding is 20 pixels from the top, 70 pixels from the right, and 70 pixels from bottom, and yeah, 70 pixels from that side too. So yes, this is looking nice for now. And let's just set the position to absolute, not relative. I don't want relative. I want my position to be absolute. And now we will say top 50% and the left 50% to make it look like this. And now it is nearly in the center. Now we have to center it, so we have just to transform it a little bit. And now we just transform and use a translate, and we just say minus 50% comma minus 50%. Now it is in the center indeed, like this password is in the center. Now our division is in the center, so we can work on our things like that. Now text alignment is remaining, so we can say that text align is also center. Now everything looks cool for now actually, and we have an H heading. Oh, not H1 should be here. H1 heading. Yes, now it looks good. So let us design or style our H1. For H1, I am using margin 0 and font family. Let's use Courier New, and font size. What should be the font size of it? Let's just say how much? Let's say 20 pixels. Okay, yeah. Is 20 pixel looking great? Yes, 20 pixel is looking great. It is a random password generator, but its color is actually not looking great. Blackish. It should be black, so we will just remove this. Now yes, now it is looking quite nice. Random password generator generates a password of length. Now we need to style this p tag, so let's just style our p tag. So in the p tag I also want the margin to be 0, and okay, now the font family will be should be, let's say, what should we choose, what should be, okay, monospace would be good. And this is our random password generator, but it is not looking nice. Let's just add some little more margin to it. Margin bottom, I want to add a little margin in the bottom. Yes, now it's look cool, or we can add a little bit more. The old one looks good. 5 pixels looks good to me, actually. 5 pixels, yes, it looks good. Now we have to design our input box, this one bar here. We need to design it. Yes, we need to style it. So now how can we do it? So in the input tag we have given it an ID of input, so we can use that ID, that dot box has INP. Now we can target that particular input border, or we can just say simple input, because we have only one input right here. So if we give border, let's say 2 pixels solid, and for border color we will be using our same color as that one. Let's just say I will be using some color, a hex value, this one. Yes, so our border is applied. Let's see here, this our border has been applied right here. Let me just zoom it so you can see is it. Okay, so this is our border. Now we need border radius, so let's just say border radius, it should be 20 pixels. No, it doesn't look good 20 pixel actually. Let's say 24 pixels. Yeah, it looks nice then. That okay, so our border radius is 24 pixel. And what is our background? Background should be none. And yes, we will be display, and we will set display to block, not block size, idiot. Display block. Okay, so now it is having a display of block. Now we need to have it in the center. We can text align and center it, and let's just see, color of the text should be black, and margin is auto. Now it is in the center, looking very cool. Okay, but it does have an outline, so we need to delete it. Okay, outline, let's say none. Now it looks much cleaner. Now after the outline, let's just say margin top. We need to say some margin on the top, 10 pixels I'd say. And let's just add some margin on the bottom as well, minus 10 pixels. And here it is, margin bottom. Or even if we didn't use it, okay, margin bottom should be this. Now we will be adding some animation to it, and so we will set width to 200 pixels and transition to 0.25 seconds. And let's just say font family, let's just use sans serif. Okay, so this is our random password generator, the length of password. Okay, so now we need to add a little bit animation to it. So now we will be adding some animation to our input box. So we will say input focus and in this focus we will increase the width of it to not 50, actually 250 pixels, and we will set border color to has 3C 40 and C6. Now it looks good. This is a little animation that we have added in it. Okay, I think we should remove this margin bottom. Yes. Okay, now we need to design our this button, this generate password button. So we have given an ID of button to it, or we can just target this button and design it. So let's just say button button. We are designing our button now. So let's just say our button has a margin. Our button has a margin of, let's say, how much? Let's give it a 5 pixels. Where is it? Let's just give it a 5 pixel margin. And what else can we give? We have to set outline to none, and let's just add a little bit border into it. Border should be, let's just say, 2 pixels solid, and color we will be using, that will be this. Okay, so now we have a nice border to it and no outline as well. Now let's just say background is none. So we have removed this little odd white background. Now because we are adding animation to it, so I just say transition 0.25 seconds and font family. Now you can choose font from Google, but I am just, yes, this also looks good. Font family. Now we need to add a border radius to it, similar as above 14. Yes, this is now looking great. Okay, so now we need to add a little bit things like cursor pointer, that whenever cursor goes here it becomes a pointer like this. See? Okay, actually margin was here a little bit nice. Margin bottom was minus 10 pixels that I deleted as last time. Now it looks good. Yeah, so we have a button here, and now let's add little bit animations to our button. And whenever you hover the button, hover means whenever you are over it, so we will be setting the background of the button to the color of the border, which is this is the color of the border actually, and the text color should be white, like this. Oh, not save as. Okay, this is good. I think we can say here that font size should be a little bit on 20 pixels. Oh, 20 pixels is big, quite big. Yeah, 10 pixels looks good. Or we can make it 15 pixels. Oh, no, 15 pixels is also really bad. Yeah, this looks good. 12 pixels is quite good. Now we need to just have our output ready. So for displaying output, I will use the output tag, and this output we will be giving it an ID of out, and let's just design it a little bit. And now we have to write some code to generate a random password. So we will be using script tag, and I will be writing my JavaScript in the HTML file, because I know it is not good idea to write your JavaScript in the HTML, but because it is a very little script, so we will be using here. So we need to have a function that is generate password. This function here is as similar as this function, because when we click on the button, on click it will, okay, not as on click, it is on click. On click it will trigger this function, so we will use this function to generate a random password. So now first of all we will store, we will create a variable, an empty variable, and let's just create another variable which will be key list of our keys, and in this key we will be using all the letters like QU, okay, like just this. Yes, these are all the letters. Now we will be using all the numbers 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 0. Now let's add some extra words to it. Okay, so this is our key list, like these are the letters, or these are the letters or the characters that we have to use in our password. So what are we going to do here, that we will be running a for loop inside this key list, and we will be picking one character at random, and we will be adding that character into password, and at the end of the function we will return or update the value of this output, so we can display our random password there. Okay, so we first need to get the length of the password that a user has given to us. So we will store the length of password in a variable length, in a length of password. Okay, so for getting the length of password we will use get element by id, because we have given input tag an id of inp. Yes, so we will say document dot get element by id, and inside this we will be putting our inp tag. You can also use query selector here, but I like input or the document dot get element by id. Now we will be using this value, and after this we have the length of password. Now we need to generate a password of length between 1 to 40. So if someone exceeds this length, then we need to display as another message. So we will write a simple conditional here, that if the length of password is smaller than 1, let me just use one more brackets here. If the length of password is smaller than 1, or the length of password is greater than 40, then we will say that password is equal to choose a valid length. Yes, choose a valid length. Else, in the else case, we will be writing our for loop, that if the length of password is between 1 and 40, then what we do. So we will be running a for loop, and inside the for loop we will be letting an I equal to 0, and the termination condition will be I should be smaller than the length of password. That yes, we will be running this loop till I becomes equal to the length of password. And yes, we have now an incrementer which will be I++. Now using our let random number. This rnum means random number, or you can use this temp variable. You can create a temp variable here, And now in this temp variable we need to store a random number. So for generating a random number we will be using our math library math.random. So this math.random generates a random number between 0 and 1, but we need the length of our but we need a random number between 1 and how much between the length of the key list. Like if the length of key list is 10, then we if we need the random password between the length of the key list. Why? Because we want to go from starting to the end, so we will need the length of key list. So how to generate a random number between like that? So we will multiply it between the keylist.length. Okay, so this is our random number, but this is not an actual, so we have to floor it so we can get a real random number. Not map, we will say map.random, not map.random, actually map.floor. Now after this, the temp variable will hold a random number between 1 and the length, or between 1 and the length of this list. If the length of this list is 10, if I just reduce this list or increase this list in future, then this code is future proof. Now we need to add something to the password. So our password plus equals the key list, and we will be selecting our random number from it. Now this code has been completed. Now we just need to display it. So I would be saying document dot get element by id, and in this tag our output dot value would be equal to password. Okay, so if I do this and if I come here and say 12 and generate a password, then yeah, we have generated a password, but this is not looking cool and nice, so we will style it a little bit. And after generating password, this 12 stays here, so we need to get rid of that. So for that we can just say document dot get element by id, and if I can ID of that int dot value is equal to an empty string. So if I just go and 1 here and do, then voila, the 1 goes from here. Now we just need to style this shit, this little odd ugly looking h or the password. So we will see that this output has an, okay, we will just have to we have to do this output tag here. So for output we can say, we can give you a font family, not font style. Okay, let's give it a font style of italic. Okay, font family Lucidia Sans could be good. This font family would be good. And font weight, I want to make it look bold, not font family again, idiot. Font weight should be bold. And since we want to display it on the next line, we will say a BR tag here. We can add a BR tag here, and if I just write 12 and generate password, and yes, we have generated our password, but it is not looking good because the font family is not good. We can add a new font family. Monospace could be good. Yeah, monospace, I love monospace. If I say 12, then yes, we have generated a new password, a random password. And if I put a length of 41, then it will say choose a valid length. Or if I go for negative length like -5, then it will say choose a valid length. For 0 length, it will say a valid length, choose karo bhaiya. And for 1, it will also say why it generates a password. Yes, so this is our random password generator. and this is also, let me just take, this is also responsive. See this? This is also responsive because we have designed it that way. So this was it. This was the Front-End Friday episode for this Friday. The duration has been little of half an hour. I hope that you have enjoyed this Front-End Friday episode, and if you make this project for yourself, then please share it with me. Or if you are making any kind of projects in front end, please share it with me, and I will see you with a next front end project on the next Friday. And as always, thanks for watching.